Welcome back to 3+U. When COVID first became a household word in March, it didn't take long before all of us began to realize the negative effect it may have on area kids and the way they were learning, with this remote learning becoming a part of their world. Obviously, that has continued, and the concern is still there for how we help our kids get the most out of their education in this very, very unusual year. I'm so happy this morning to have Emily Blackwell and Andy Daly join me. They have a new PR firm in town called Sanwell PR. We'll give you the backstory on them in a minute, but they are focusing their efforts on education. Good to see you both this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, good to see you too.
I'm sorry?
No, you go ahead, Andy. I was going to jump in, but it's your story to tell.
Okay. So Emily and I have a background in media in the community where between the two of us, covered all three of the network affiliates. And we decided naturally to segue our love for telling the feel-good stories into our own LLC that supports nonprofits and small businesses with heart. And it segued naturally into covering that. So yeah, and now we're giving back ourselves.
Northside Neighborhood House stood out to us because of COVID-19 and the way that education had been interrupted for many months for students. And what they do that's so special is they have after-school programs in 3 of the underserved community schools. So they serve north of the river in Hamilton County, which includes Red Bank High School, Soddy Daisy Middle, and in Hickson Middle School. And they started the Red Bank High School one in 2015, and they do after school tutoring, college prep, and they give them a healthy meal, which they wouldn't receive normally if they were to go home. So it's really important to us to support nonprofits that are helping kids with education right now in particular.
So what you did was you established a scholarship of sorts, is that right?
That's right. We established a scholarship to benefit the kids that are needing the tutoring program, to fund the teachers that'll offer that tutoring. So we're excited to help an organization that doesn't just give handouts, but as they say, they give a hand up. So it aligned with our mission for sure.
I want to go back a little bit to what you touched on in the beginning, Andy. So in full disclosure, the 3 of us have known each other for a long time. Emily and I worked together at Channel 3. Andy, you have worked at multiple television stations in town. I first got to know you long ago when you were a guest on 3+U. So I think it's really appropriate that you're talking with me today, because one of the things I love about 3+U is that generally it's a community show. It's kind of a feel-good hour where you don't have to worry a whole lot about having to hear negative things come your way. And for the fact that the 2 of you, that's what you're seeking to promote, you're seeing the positive things that are in our community every day and trying to help those organizations find their own voice, right?
I would say Emily and I almost feel compelled to a compulsion to help. And I know it's a cliche saying when they say, when you do what you love, you don't work a day in your life. Mm-hmm. But every day when Emily and I get someone like you to cover one of our amazing clients, it's like we have these moments of goosebumps and tears where we just feel like we're working alongside the media with anchors like you to make a huge actual impact in our community, raising awareness for nonprofits and businesses that can't afford a huge campaign with a big name firm. Mm-hmm. And it just, helps me sleep better at night. It feels like I'm taking my history and making something good of it.
Well, and a lot of the times nonprofits have such an amazing story to tell, and the news oftentimes misses those stories because there are so many nonprofits in Chattanooga and in the Tennessee Valley that sometimes they don't even hear of them. So that's something that we love to do, is to get those stories out to the public and make sure that everyone knows what their mission is.
So talk a little bit more then about Northside Neighborhood House, because Rachel Gammon at the house is very much a frequent guest in our show. So many people watching today will be familiar with her. First of all, they've been around for a long, long time. So you're involved with a very vetted organization.
So we first started talking to Rachel, I want to say about a month ago, and we wanted to know how we can help them during these times with COVID. And one of the things that they told us is we need help with our after-school programs. We started it recently, but we want to grow it. So we're in 3 schools right now, but we want to make sure that we're in all of the underserved schools. So that was one thing that we thought stuck out to us because education is so important because of COVID-19. So that's why we decided to work with Northside Neighborhood House. We feel like they have a great program that helps students after school.
So obviously your conversation with me today can go a couple of different directions. If there is somebody watching and they have ventured out on their own journey as well in this crazy COVID time, and they're looking for someone like you to help them find a voice, they can reach out to you. We'll show them how. But there might be some people who will think, I want to add to this scholarship fund. If people want to help with the fund you've established, can they do that?
That would be amazing. In fact, that could be their own public relations campaign if they decided to join into the scholarship or donate in their own way to Northside Neighborhood. Please reach out to us. Yeah, sanwellpr.com, and we'd love to set that up. Emily and I look at it as sort of putting our money where our mouth is. When we ask small businesses to think about how they can give back, we're trying to do the same thing and hope other businesses see that we believe in community advocacy and support, and in a way that is marketing in its own way.
Well, I will say, as a very shameless plug, that when Emily left Channel 3, there was a mourning because she brightens up the room. There's laughter in the hallway when Emily's around. So, and Andy brings the same joy. So it's fun for me to talk to you both on a professional level this morning.
Those were some of the best years of my life, Julie, sitting with you at Channel 3. But it is so natural between us. We have the same, we worked at Channel 12 together. So that's how we met. And as soon as I knew that I wanted to do a different path with my career, she was the first person I thought of. So,
well, everything comes full circle. So rightfully, you're right back in touch with me. And I'm so glad to have the time to talk to you both this morning.
Thank you, Julie.
Thanks for sharing your microphone for all these good causes too, Julie.
You're very kind. SanwellPR.com is their website. In the meantime, if you are in the area that they talked about, and perhaps you have a child who could benefit from some after-school tutoring, contact the Northside Neighborhood House. That area north side of the river also has its own financial concerns sometimes, and those children could certainly use your help. So we're back with more right after this.
We know that moving can be stressful, but we've got the solution.